Hey y'all, we recorded this episode on a Friday, and at the end of the weekend, the world was looking very different. A heads up that this is a not safe for work episode. We discuss a lot of explicit content, a lot of contemporary events, and another thing which has changed since the weekend is our thinking on the controversial sampling of the Jim Jones speech in the track, What Do You Think? Our comments were made before Big Hit's official explanation, so that's why our conclusions may sound a little different from what's there now, but that's what you can expect for covering K-pop. As always, enjoy and tweet us your thoughts about the issue at the Kpopcast.
Hey everyone, I want to keep this brief, but something that's been on my mind, on the Black community's mind in particular, and all of our, the global community really is the recent uptick, it seems, in anti-Black violence, racist violence taking place in the U.S. And I also just heard of an incident in London recently, and just wanted to make space for our community, for Kpopcast listeners to acknowledge that K-pop and fandoms and our faves and all of that, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. We are all humans living in this world, and a lot of us are going through a really hard time right now. For me personally, I had a super rough day and was really looking forward to jumping onto the Kpopcast to talk about the new album, and it kind of serves as a distraction for me. But at the same time, I like to say yes and. It can be a really fun distraction or something to escape with, but K-pop and the people involved don't exist in a vacuum. So I think it's important that since we have a platform, we take a moment to acknowledge that, a lot of us are hurting right now due to what's going on.
Yeah, and I think it's important as Asian Americans, especially to stand with and support Black Lives Matter, because until all of us are free, none of us are free. And I've been sobbing on and off for the last week because it's just so awful. And I think it's also actually important to talk about within K-pop itself, because K-pop would not exist without Black people. It would not exist without Black contributions to music, without R&B, without hip hop. And the things that we love about K-pop, the things that we love about hip hop would not exist without Black people. And that is not actually the reason to like and support Black Lives Matter. But what I mean is like Stephanie said, it does not exist in a vacuum, and Black Lives Matter because it's the right thing, right? It's Black people are people. So in case you can't tell, on all my channels, I've been blasting out Black Lives Matter because I feel like the Asian American community has not really shown up for the Black community. Whereas when all the anti-Asian sentiment started happening due to the coronavirus, and it flares up every so often, right? I feel like all my Black friends in the Black community showed up for the Asian Americans, and I felt shame that whenever the constant anti-Blackness of America has shown up, that it was so rare to see Asian Americans speak out against it.
Yeah, I will say I was on a chat and a webinar with the Asian American Journalists Association this morning.
Oh, wow.
And we were discussing just this issue. Hey, man, fellow people of color, you got to show up. Got to show face here. And, it's very much a part of the Asian American responsibility to talk about these stories because it certainly affects us all. I would also like to praise the K-pop community for joining in solidarity for the Black Lives Matters movement. We've seen armies accounts say hold on, we're not going to put this stuff up. We're not going to use these hashtags so that we don't trend like we always do, so that we can allow important conversations to take the main stage. And we are seeing that from Blinks. We're seeing that from Stays. I mean, name your fandom. They're all leaning back very deliberately. And that, I have to applaud the K-pop community for expressing some intellectual maturity, growth, and responsibility for once, and transcending the cult-like zealous fandoms that many of them often have. So, changing gears. intro segment for SUGA.
Back to K-pop.
Welcome to the Kpopcast.
Hey.
I am DJ Peter Lowe, and I'm joined by Stephanie.
In the house.
And welcoming back resident SUGA stan, it's Virginia Juan.
Hi.
And welcome PD Michaela.
Hello, everybody.
Today we'll be talking about SUGA. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, I know we say it 1,000 times in the song, but I need you to say it. Daechwita.
Yeah.
If it's easier to say in Chinese, you can say daechwita.
Ooh, I like that.
I like both versions.
Although I have this problem because I'm learning Korean. Like, you mishear Korean words as other Korean words. So I hear twejita, which is like a completely different thing because tweji means like pig.
Well, it is big. It is big.
Bulgogi.
So if a Korean person were to walk on me singing the song, they would be hearing me just like singing Ride the Pig the whole time.
Oh, Ride the Pig.
Ride the Pig.
Wow.
All right.
That might be a different podcast.
All right, so we'll be letting you know if this song is daebak or not, and sharing our hit replays from the mixtape. Hit replays are songs we recommend that y'all listen to on replay for the week. So Stephanie, what's your replay off of this mixtape?
Oh, there's so much to love about this mixtape, but when it comes down to it, I am in love with track number 1. That is Moonlight, or Ta Dal.
Yes.
This is like everything I like about Korean R&B. Reminds me of the back in the day producers like Primary that use a lot of jazzy, full instruments, trumpet, understated bass guitar, little tambourine shimmering in the background. You can just relax with a cool drink and listen to this song. And it has a really nice introspective message as well. The main line in the chorus says, you know, a lot has changed over the course of SUGA's life, but the same moonlight that shines on me at dawn, you know, it's still the same as it was back then. It's the same moonlight then and now.
So cool. Yeah. That was actually going to be my hit replay until you picked that second. So great job.
Snagged it.
I loved it just because, like, man, the groove,
Yes.
the beat. It's my second favorite song off this mixtape.
10 out of 10 would recommend for extracurricular activities. I can vouch that it is excellent.
Hey. All right, Virginia, what's your pick?
Oh, right. Always bring it to the thirst.
I love it. That's why we bring you on.
It's so shameless. All right, so my favorite, it was a toss-up between Saram, people, and what do you think? But I think ultimately it's people because it's very comforting, and I find that SUGA sings on it. He wasn't actually supposed to. He was supposed to have a feature, but the feature fell through, and so he decided to just use his guiding track instead. And Adora's like background ad-libs and vocals are just amazing. But I think what I love about it is he's reflecting about what kind of person he is. And he's just talking about him as a person. Is he a good person? Is he a bad person? He said his favorite line in this song is when he talks about he thinks his mission in life is just to adjust to change. If you watch the Break the Silence documentary, the 6th episode, he also talks about this concept of like what's ordinary for us is extraordinary for him, and what's extraordinary for us is ordinary for him. And I feel like it's just as the resident old person of this podcast, as I get older, it's all about just how I am as a person. Like, yes, it's important. I find accomplishments important and interesting, but it's ultimately who I am as a person. And then we're always going to get hurt. How are we going to move on from that? So I just find it a very comforting song. And then his vocals, he's just so soothing, and he's just so. I just want to cry. Feeling it.
So my hit replay, because I did not get to pick the title track and I did not get to pick Moonlight, I went through all the other songs like, okay, which of these do I really relate to? Which one of these have like a dope beat? And then I ended up on this concluding track, which is soft and sentimental. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm actually feeling this. This is in the spirit of what Stephanie said on Moonlight. It's very self-reflective. And upon looking into the message and lyrics, it's about missing an old friend whom you've grown apart from, and you're exploring the feelings that have come with the reality that you're walking different paths in life. And re-listening to that song with that context, I think, brings a whole new meaning and a whole new look, and it's very refreshing.
I think it also features Kim Jong-wan from Nell, right?
Yes.
That's that song? Yeah.
That's right.
His voice is amazing.
I was like, I know
love
that
Nell.
voice. So distinctive.
And the song is actually about a friend. He's referenced in multiple songs. I think I think First Love and also Spring Day.
Oh, really?
And it's a friend who is in prison, or was in prison, I think for drugs. But that's allegedly what is it?
Allegedly.
And then actually on his live, his V Live, someone asked him if he's met up with his friends since then, and he says he still has not. So.
Yeah. You definitely get that vibe from the song that he's probably... The person they're talking about is probably somebody he doesn't keep in contact with a lot.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Virginia. I did not realize that. So
Yes.
that also changes the meaning yet again. So, Michaela, what's your hit replay?
My hit replay, when everybody took the rest of the songs. My hit replay from this mixtape is Interlude Set Me Free. I feel like it's probably one of the tracks on this mixtape that a lot of people don't really listen to. But for me, it just stuck out because, one, it's definitely a genre and vocal style that he's never really done before. And I found it really refreshing hearing it within this mixtape. And also, it's got like this nice moody vibe that I feel like middle school me would have loved and would have had this song on repeat for like hours and hours and hours. So it really touched me that way. And also I love the soundscape with the bird sounds. It's like I said, it's a whole mood. I love it.
It was he actually wrote it 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks before the release.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was the last song completed. He wasn't going to include it, and then he had sent it to Bang PD, and Bang PD was like, "No, I really dig it." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So he included it.
Yeah, because it's true. Like I said, it's a different kind of style, different kind of genre. It makes sense why he wouldn't feel completely comfortable with it. But like I said, it's 10 out of 10 for me.
So I guess moving on to our daebak or not for Agust D's daechwita.
So this mixtape, it came out 4 years after the last one. And I think about when the last one came out, and I can't believe that was 4 years ago.
2016.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I loved that last mixtape. And I remember playing it and talking about it on FM radio.
Oh, right, huh?
When it first came out. I'm surprised that, I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but this is an album that Big Hit is giving away for free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's why it's a mixtape. Yeah.
Oh.
It's not a solo album. It's not a solo release.
Okay.
It's just a mixtape. This is just him being an artist and wanting to release music for himself and also the fans.
I still paid for it.
Right.
So I just take my money. If you can't take my body, take my money.
Wow.
Now, chalk it up to my K-pop cynicism. I just thought mixtape is one of those interchangeable words they just slap on short albums.
Yeah. That is the one characteristic about BTS
maybe.
is when it comes to the rap line, how they try to present themselves as authentic artists is their solo work is mixtapes. It's just free music that they've produced themselves and have complete creative control of that they just release because they're artists.
They have to pay for it too. Yeah. I didn't realize that. I thought Big Hit was pay for it, but they have to pay for they have to pay for the videos on the albums. That's why Big Hit.
That's not
What's
fair.
the point of that?
That's why
they got the BTS money now, though.
Right, but that's why Big Hit's intro thing is not on any of the mixtapes.
Oh.
I guess J-Hope said during the Map of the Soul press conference that he had to pay. They have to pay for it.
Wow.
So they paid for SUGA paid for that really fucking expensive video. The man's got money. It's okay.
I guess so.
Yeah, but at the same time, look, oftentimes the music itself is not all that profitable. It is, however, profitable if you're in Big Hit territory.
Right.
Like if you're producing an album, there's enough scale, enough followers that it is a commercial enterprise to produce an album for money's sake. And traditionally, K-pop labels have relied on other revenue streams and use the album and the music video as the business card for other more lucrative deals and channels. So I was just surprised that I guess Big Hit didn't try to capitalize on it in a formal package. But I guess, as you're saying, Virginia, it's the idols, the artists themselves chose to do
I'm sure Big Hit has its cut. Don't feel sorry for Big Hit. Right?
No, I don't.
Big Hit's not we missed an opportunity.
Because as far as a distribution deal, you can find this on Spotify, on all the platforms. So he's probably going through Big Hit for those kinds of things. So, yeah. They're getting a cut.
Yeah, they're not darn, we're missing out.
Right,
No.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
The big company always wins.
Right?
Fact of life.
It could be a win-win. It could be a win-win.
The timing of this mixtape is also interesting.
Yeah.
SUGA said that he wanted to release it a year earlier, albeit having that extra year of polish may have made the product better. But I'm wondering, it is 3 years and 9 months after Agust D. And if you, what is his birth date again?
March 9th, 93.
There.
Oh my gosh.
I would get it tattooed, except that's weird.
Come on, you already have it.
No, I would get a... Oh, I'm not going to actually say it. It's too not safe for work. But anyway, so
you were saying, Peter.
Well, Virginia, I want to know, is that a coincidence? What do you think?
I think it's just... he was supposed to release it in September of 2019.
Right.
But then he ended up not. And then I think... Well, he mentioned on his live, because of the coronavirus, and then he had time to, work on his music and then fix things, and then...
Okay.
It's probably been ready a little bit, and then it sounds conscious. I'll wait until this date. Boom.
Yeah.
And
it's right before Festa too, right? Festa's happening in 3 days or something.
Oh, right.
Yeah. My mom texted me about that. She's watching right now. Hi, Mom.
Oh. Hi, Sydney's mom.
Mom's a bigger army than me and texted me about Festa. You going to this? You heard about this?
I love her.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2 new songs.
Yeah.
And 2 new choreos and stuff. That's exciting.
Well, anyway, what do we think of the lyrics and the message of this song? I think there's a lot to dissect and take apart here.
I feel like I saw this comment on Twitter, and I feel like it's very accurate. They asked, how did they fit SUGA's dick in this video? And I feel...
Oh my gosh.
I was like, yes, that's exactly how I feel about this video. That's exactly how I feel about this song.
I don't. So our podcast listeners and live streamers can't see it, but in our outline for this episode, I wrote. You guys can see it.
I didn't know. I just saw that. Yeah.
Big dick energy.
Mom, stop watching. Mom.
Yeah.
That's not a.
It's just like.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Well, when I mentioned it to my husband, he was like, "Oh, does he walk around with a wheelbarrow?" I was like, "Maybe."
Wow.
Yeah, actually, there's a lyric in this, and Stephanie, maybe I'm going to have to defer to your Korean cultural and pronunciation expertise here.
Yeah.
But, hyunta, am I saying that right? Do you know what that means,
Hyunta?
Stephanie?
I
Hyunta.
don't. You should have put an explanation.
Oh,
Or at least in the Korean.
It's the. It means. It's actually. It used to be. It's now in popular culture. People will say it, but it originated from Japan, and it is. It's the term.
Right, hyunta.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called the wise man's time. It literally refers to
yeah.
post-coital bliss, like after you've nutted, and, and you have like clarity, and you're like, oh, is that all that was? All right. So people, they refer to it like in pop culture now as like reality check, but it took a while for it to like morph from like a very inappropriate phrase to something like people say more commonly. So people, they say it on variety shows now. So it's not as, but the actual meaning is, so it refers more to like, oh, like kind of the disappointment. Like, is that all there is?
Oh, coming down from
right?
like,
Like,
honeymoon.
I have the translation
face.
of the lyric.
Yeah. But
it basically says he's like feeling a hyunta, a situation where there's no higher. I had only looked up. Now I just want to look down and gently land. So that's the line that it comes from.
Oh, how poetic.
yes.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, along the lines of like this entire song and album is about big dick energy. It's like I am at the top of my game. There's nowhere else to go. Now that I've achieved world domination, it's like, is that it?
Yeah.
Like, is that all there is?
Now I have to entertain myself, like doing donuts in the park, cutting off people's heads, faking my own death. Like,
I feel like we should verify for science. Like we are. Like, we know Kim Namjoon, we know Kim Seokjin, and we know Park Jae-min are on the BD line. We have to verify for science if SUGA is also on the BD line. I'm just saying. For science.
I mean, this really is valid because we're talking about like if you talk about the main theme of the mixtape, Agust D2 is
valid.
is basically covering basically his life in his late 20s. So like Agust D1. Do we need a moment? Should I stop?
No, keep it going. Keep it going. We'll catch up.
Let's go.
Yeah, okay. So Agust D1 was basically the time period of his teens and his early 20s, kind of talking about his thoughts and his feelings at that time. But this mixtape is all about him now, like the present SUGA, like him in his late 20s, almost 30s, like he's really kind of in this new era of his life. And, with that kind of energy.
Well, I mean, again, he's achieved everything, right? And I think this is him looking back. So if we think about what I loved about the original Agust D mixtape is that he was trying to show, like, I'm not this cute Aegyo boy in a boy group. I'm legit.
I'm gonna tie you up and flip you off.
Yeah, and I'm slaying with some lyrical fire in the original Agust D mixtape. I love that.
Yeah.
Like he had to show something for it, and now like he doesn't have to show.
Yeah,
anyone.
But he should.
Like,
he should show us things. He should show us things.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe
Specifics.
Maybe
I'm just saying.
And only Virginia. Give Virginia special attention.
Yeah.
But,
Backstage.
I can share.
Wow. How generous.
I'm a generous person.
Wow.
okay. But like I think probably like a bookmark for him.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Yes, maybe a year ago he had already achieved world domination status. Being BTS what it is in the music industry. So I think what's next is like now where does he go from here?
He needs to get married. He needs to get married,
go to the military
in her 40s with 4 children. Oh, that's what you mean? Oh, that's just all right,
that's clearly what I was deciphering from the lyrics of the song. But my only hope is that for him moving forward, that he starts to talk less about himself and more about, especially from his unique point of view, more subversive elements about the industry at large that is teased in this song.
Yeah?
Or that we get at in the meaning of this song.
How so?
Oh, he did say in his V Live, is behind the scenes of like how both daechwita and What Do You Think? He said he laid traps. He said he laid traps.
Right, yeah.
And even though the industry knows that that's what he does, they still stepped into it like cockroaches. I mean, he literally said cockroaches. And I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. That's awesome.
Wow.
You know, like, and, you know, like, because he never names names, right?
Yeah.
And yet people are all over Twitter, like, being pressed, you know, that he's like, well, so he's clearly talking about so-and-so. And he's like, yo, I don't name names. Like, if you see yourself in this lyrics, that's not my problem.
You mad? Triggered?
Right? Like, you know, and I'm like, oh, to have even like a percentage of the like the unbotheredness.
Yeah, just right? DGAF. Just,
yeah.
Yeah, and this is what got me into BTS, actually, really to begin with. It's just that, again, a subversive message in lyrics, anti-establishment to some degree.
Yeah.
And this song epitomizes a lot of those elements and themes. We see two sides of SUGA, right? In this music video, we see him as a king, and then we also see him as a slave, and how they cross paths.
Yeah, the two key points, at least the ones that I got from the DK explained of this song, we're talking about two verses or two lines from the first verse. So the translation of it is, from origins of a slave to become a king, a tiger that has gone crazy, Kwang Hee flow. So that's specifically talking about a historical figure from like the Joseon era of Korea. So he was basically this mad king who was probably suffering from some kind of mental disorder or post-traumatic stress from all the wars that he fought in. He was originally elected by the people, like he won the hearts of the people, but then because he went psychotic and crazy and started killing people with no cause, there was a coup against him and they ended up dethrowing him. So it's this idea of applying that concept to himself of like, yeah, I'm the king, I'm at the top, but I'm recognizing that I'm not going to become complacent like that guy. I'm not going to allow myself to not see the pain or the negative things that I'm doing. And so that's why you see him portrayed as that, like what that would look like for him is that blonde king character who is crazy and murdering people and like cutting off their heads. And he challenges it by being the slave SUGA, the SUGA with the black hair and the modern look.
I saw the kingdom more as like the establishment, the traditional record labels, and then you've got this like wee band of SUGA and a few other familiar faces behind him rolling up.
Yeah.
And they're at the bottom of the food chain, and that reminds me of a certain label in 2013 rising from the bottom, and now they're here. They're at the top.
Little Drake reference.
Yeah, and they're modern. Right? In the visuals of the music video, you've got the old school historical drama set.
The Joseon era set.
Yeah, and that's like the establishment of the K-pop or even the music industry at large. And you've got the modern, the new.
Yeah.
And they're not like decked out. They don't have gold chains or anything. They don't have the high-end clothing or whatever it is. No, these are guys who are coming in. They're modern, but they're slaves. They're coming at it, and when they're accused of challenging the system, just like I don't know what the act is called in Korean historical context, but the beheading of someone who holds a coup, you cut their heads off, and we see that in a few different parts in the music video. But instead of having his head cut off, it's like, you know what? No, you music industry, you're not the king. I'm the king.
Because
And that's where you see in the bridge of the song, and where you've got the head rocking, and it's not just SUGA, but all the other people who are also supposed to be subservient to the king that are also joining in the head rocking. It's like, okay, who really has the power here? It's not you, old school establishment industry players. It's us, the new school, like rolling in our like ghetto car, doing donuts.
Well, it wasn't a ghetto car when they first came out, right? It was a top of the line car.
Yeah, of the time.
At the time.
I see.
Yeah,
It's-
so I do agree with that interpretation because it's not only like when you talked about him rolling up with his crew, there's a specific thing that people like to point out that there's like 6 guys, so that they represent the other BTS members,
right?
Like joining him in this revolt against the establishment.
And then there's a woman, right? There's the woman who holds the gold keychain, and they're saying that that person represents ARMY.
Oh.
And I would just like to take this moment to point out how hot SUGA looks when he's putting on a frickin' AP
Yes.
watch. Oh my god! Like, please, I've never wanted to be a watch so badly in my life.
Okay, so how is he hot? Like, what elements? Like, take us down that road.
How much time do you all have?
Why? How? In what ways?
So I don't know if people know, but SUGA's my bias. Like, he's my.
Oh no, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
No, you couldn't. I mean, it's not that I'm not OT7, because let's just be real. You can ride a train through me. That's fine. But like, look, you guys told me I could drink, and that is the consequence of drinking.
It's true.
There are real consequences.
Yes,
to alcohol.
take us along.
Oh, if only SUGA could take me along. So he actually said in his behind the scenes interview that like the king is supposed to represent the old Agust D, and the only reason why the black haired SUGA is or Agust D is the new Agust D, and he actually originally wanted them both to be blonde. But then he's like, no, he likes contrast. So everyone's like assigning all these like really deep meanings of like why there's a scar. And he's like, no, I just think scars are cool. I think it's like a good aesthetic. And
I heard
like,
he likes the movie Scarface.
right. And I'm like, you know what? That's cool. That's an aesthetic. And he, apparently like Lumpens, they were originally the company that films all their music videos originally was going to have a very like minimalistic set. And he's like, yo, no. Like, I've got 7 swords, and I've researched them, and I would like a fucking sword scene.
Yes.
And regardless
he did research, like, he's never done sword fighting before, but he, like, little nerdy SUGA went online and searched for, like, 7 different types of sword fighting, trained on his, like, that. I love that diligent nerd spirit.
I want to touch a sword. Like, oh my god.
Although apparently, like his energy, the sword was too heavy. So, like, because he had a official like craftsman, like a sword crafter make his sword, but it was too heavy for him to use, so they had to replace it with like a lighter thing.
Yeah, they replaced it with aluminum. And he's like, he was complaining. He's like, I got blistered.
So he was like all in on just like throwing the sword around.
Yeah. And you know what I'm so bitter about? They better release this. They better release like a fucking like behind the scenes kind of shit where like he said they had a longer version of the sword fight of him doing the sword dance. They have a longer version of the sword dance.
Very quick in the music video, only a few shots.
I want a whole video of that. Yeah.
I just dear Jesus, please. And then apparently there was choreo for the song, but they cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, fuck you, motherfuckers! Release it, you cowards! Like, give me that goddamn, like, swords! And give me that... and like, oh! Just,
Man.
I cannot word. You know, like, I cannot speak words. And like, I can't break down how hot he is. He's just, I mean, do you have eyes? That's why he's hot. And like
for this is the podcast, so
like,
listen.
My God, like when he does that like sword touching thing.
Yeah, when he touches the sword.
Like, do I want to be the sword? Do I want to be impaled by the sword? I mean, I don't know. Like there's just so many conflicting feelings. Yep. And then like when he first starts off in the video, when he just like that daechwita, and then like he like runs his fingers through his hair, and his hair is like all black, and like he runs his fingers, and he has like the snarl, and I'm like, like this is
I love it.
like that. Like I can't even speak. It's just like, give me a moment. I need to like fan myself. Well, you know, like I mean, that's really the whole video, right there. It's like, why? Why? How is this legal? How is this legal? How is this allowed on YouTube? Like, I don't understand. Like,
right. No, I went in. I manually approved. Yes.
We can thank Stephanie for that. Okay.
Yep,
YouTube.
Yep. That's all me.
Okay.
Bless you, Stephanie. Bless you.
Take all the credit.
My
for
pleasure.
That.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else from the visuals that we want to talk about?
I just want to acknowledge the Bang PD Jungkook.
Yes.
Yeah. I love how he put that in there, a little Easter egg.
Yeah, and I did a little bit of research. The character underneath it is the character it's like a calligraphy for the character for dance.
Yes.
Oh.
It's wu.
Oh, like Tiao.
Tiao, the wu.
Virginia's expression is my wife's expression whenever I try saying Chinese with improper tones.
Well, I did say when I was reacting to the video, I was like, this is like everything that I've ever wanted. It's like SUGA is like Legolas and like wuxia. And even though I know it's like Korean, but like there's a lot of like overlap in some of the culture.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. And like, I never knew I wanted it until I got it. And then I was like, praise the Lord Jesus that I live in this timeline.
I'm curious. No, you said that there's a Chinese version of the title of daechwita. Does it mean the same thing? Or?
It means it's daechwita, which means a big blow.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what it literally means in Korean. Okay. But it actually refers, I don't know if
like
we
a special ceremonial music performance.
Yeah, it's military music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's what it means in Chinese, but in Chinese it means like a big blow, like a fatal blow. Yeah. And then in Korean it means that, but it also refers to... It has these layers of... It refers to like military music that they would play when a king is processional.
Yeah, the king
proceeding.
Has arrived.
Right, and then the army too. Right?
Yeah, because the chui in daechwita, it translates to blow. So like it's like the air instruments, and then the ta is like hit. So it's like the drums, the gong. So those are the key elements of what sound you hear when you hear daechwita.
Yeah. And then he sampled it from like the archives.
Like an actual,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a trend on Twitter, was the National Kugak Center video. Yeah. For the record, yes, they released it years ago as like an actual informational video about what daechwita was, and they changed the title for people like us who are trying to learn more about what that actually is.
Right.
So definitely go check out that video if you want like a very more detailed description.
You said that they went back and they put like Agust D, SUGA, the title of their article.
Explain.
Yeah.
Well,
their SEO game is on point.
They know why people are coming to that page.
They should though. Yeah. And then like he said in his behind that he actually created the beat at the same time as UGG. And
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, because of that trap sound.
Yeah, and the traditional kind of like feel, and then and so he really likes that mix of traditional Korean music with the trap beat.
I mean, of course he would. SUGA has liked Haguk dramas since being a kid.
Yes.
SUGA clearly sees himself in the tradition of the historical like poets and scholars, and like he clearly sees himself like that
ultimate flex.
And if you look at Muish's translations of lyrics, she discusses how there's this one poet named, I forget his name, like Sagat. Yeah, and like he's just like really subversive, and like he has these like lyrics that or not lyrics, but he was a poet.
His poems,
and his poem was like, because I can read the hanja, the Chinese.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's saying like, if you learn it yourself, like, if you read it using only like the hanja, it says something like, if you learn it yourself, or like, I can't remember because I'm
I think it's if you learn by yourself, you'll be slow, but if someone helps you, you'll be fast.
Right. But in Korean, if you don't look at the actual words, like if you don't look at the hanja, it says something like, oh, you know, you can rub your, like, oh, there's the like
if
wonderful thing. If you rub your penis, if you rub a vagina, it's awesome, or something like that. It's like something like really, really like awesome. It says 自知, 自知 means like you yourself, and then I guess the Korean is myeon, and I don't know what that means. And then 晚知 is like late, like, and then 转知 is like. Look at me trying to pretend I know what it means. And then 早知 means early to know. But yeah, it's like, it's just so awesome. And I'm like,
it's so SUGA. Like, SUGA is the reincarnation of that dude.
It is. And then, you know, like, what do you think was supposed to be like even more foul? Like, he said it was like, he said you would have been shocked to know what his original lyrics were. And I was like, release those original lyrics, you coward! Like, oh my God. And
Send
then,
it, leak it.
Right? And like, he sent it to like A&R, and A&R was like, yeah, that's cool. And then Bob Peter's like, yeah, release it. I don't fucking care. We own like, we have so much fucking money. It doesn't matter. And then,
yeah, we have yet to actually experience true SUGA. We're still, even though this is still him while he's a king, while he's at the top, we're still getting a little bit of the censorship in.
Right.
So I feel like the next thing is like just going to be the utmost pure,
I guess,
version.
I think they're going to keep dangling it. Like, this is K-pop.
You know, you can dangle anything you want of mine, but even like in Respect, when they were talking about like the song, the subunit
Respect
song
from the last album.
Yeah, like RM said, like the original version that SUGA like sent in was like full of curse words, and it was they said it was like fucking hilarious, and they're like kind of bummed it didn't pass. They're like, because you know, like BTS has progressively sworn a lot less as they've gone on, right? But like, oh my God, like.
This is the point of the mixtape, right? Like, this is the point of you paying for everything. Yeah. So you can do whatever the hell you want.
I would pay for him to wreck me. I mean, like, I would just...
hashtag free SUGA. Free SUGA.
I just... Oh, God. It's just so obvious that he's not biased.
Yeah, I love it.
This, as you guys were saying, like, with the instruments... and the concepts, it's the old with the new.
Yeah.
And it goes so well together. And
the contrast.
Actually, if I can provide an analogy, have you guys seen the musical Jesus Christ Superstar? Any of the movies?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it.
Anyway, they try to, like, what is it, like early 70s, late 60s?
Yeah.
They go to these historical sites, and then they use tanks, modern flight jets, to show, like, oh my gosh, this is the power of the military, the Roman military at that time, to get the audience, the viewers, to understand, like, okay, what does that actually mean to today's audience, so that they can better relate to the significance of what that might have meant. And I think we see that with the new swag coming, with the modern elements seen in this music video.
But is it new though? It's not new. We all knew Agust D was like this. We
modern
we all knew
air
was
quote.
like this.
But also with the music itself, you've got the trap beats,
of course.
Again, the sampling of the daechwita.
daechwita.
There we go. Thank you guys.
Not twitita.
Not ride the pig. Yeah. No, I love that. It reminds me of, I mean, there's a few songs that do this, but remember that awards show where they performed Idol with all the traditional costumes and the instruments? I believe
that was the Melon Music Awards.
Melon Music Award, the MMAs, a couple of years back, or was it last year? I don't know.
It was 2 years ago.
I was like, this is the height. This is what BTS is meant to do, is to introduce to the world like what's so great about their country and combine it with hip hop.
I love that.
I think we talked about that in our year wrap up, and we love the contrast of like them showing like all of this true culture, and then Idol before it had done all that cultural appropriation.
I mean, having African African like musical elements, African choreo, Nigerian suits, and then like when they really had the chance to show out on stage, they did those same costumes.
I meant G Idol, not the song Idol.
Oh.
Okay,
I was
like, because G Idol, like the Korean is just Idol.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Sorry, that was my bad.
Well, you should have pronounced
G Idol
it that
had
way.
given. Sorry, that's what I meant. When G Idol, before they performed, they got a lot of hate for the fact that they were really culturally appropriating in a way that was insensitive. And then
really?
BTS ends that show with like the most Korean display that they could have given.
And you know what I love about BTS? I mean, I know we're digressing now, but like, because they are so unapologetically Korean.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. You took my words.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But like, I have actually learned more about my Chinese culture through interpreting their Korean culture than I have in a long time. Like, because a lot of
SUGA is pleased.
I mean, I would like to see SUGA. And my husband's like rolling in. She's just like, why do you say these things? And I'm like, like we had an argument, and he's like, I was like, don't be jealous that I love SUGA more than I love you. And I've been with my husband for like 18, 19 years, like a really long time, like half my life. But whatever. 4 children. What does that mean? I'll throw it all away.
Yep.
Would SUGA actually want to be with a person who would throw her life away for him? I don't know, but I would if he would be willing. I'm just saying.
It's just one way to find out. Yeah.
Right? Like, anyway, I gotta shoot my shot. But like, like I just feel like it's just so awesome. Like people are telling them like, you're selling out. You're like you're trying to cater to the Western crowd. They're like, oh, well then we'll release Dang. Right? Like,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then like, oh, okay, well we'll have Idol. Like the Idol teaser. Like, release that version, you fucking cowards. Release that version. And then, like, it's just so amazing. I feel, especially as an Asian American.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've been ching chang chonged as a kid, as an adult with children. Like, and the fact that, like, that my children think, that my children can witness BTS at the top of their game, and that they can see Asian men. I have 3 boys. I have 3 Asian boys.
Oh, wow.
I have 3, multi-ethnic Asian boys and 1 girl. And the fact that they see BTS just kicking fucking ass, being Korean, not even like trying to cater to like whiteness or whatever, right?
Top of the world.
And my kids can see that, and they're like, oh, because when I was growing up, like, who did we have? We had no one,
No,
maybe Dustin Nguyen, because he was really fine in 21 Jump Street. But like, he's an awesome guy, by the way, because my friend knows him and I got to interview him. But like, like we don't. It's not the predominant narrative, right? Like, and I'm sure Peter has experiences, but like,
Peter, do you?
Oh, sure, yeah, totally. But going back to unapologetically Korean.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this.
Yeah.
And Idol and Dang, as you said. Also, what is it? When It Says Lit, their song, that was also very unapologetically Korean. And like so many groups that we know before them try to conform to the Western model, that would try to be like betray what made them famous to begin with. And then try to then become famous in the West. It's like, no. Do your thing.
Right.
Do what makes you you. And I just wish more K-pop acts were this brave to be themselves and to just be like, yo, when I grew up, this song was lit. Like, Come Back Home or whatever it may be. Like these old things that are part of my background and my culture. Celebrate that, man.
Yeah.
Like, make that a part of your music. Make that a part of your artistry. And we see that, I think, again, SUGA is not only does he point to it, but he's like, yes, and I am the next evolution. Like, I am the next historical benchmark footnote in the history of mankind. But
because it helps that he's doing it very well. Like
right.
You sent in the links the reaction of these Korean rappers reacting to it, And one of their mentions was it is hard sometimes to integrate these traditional elements without it sounding forced or sounding really corny and not, delivering on the actual like impact of the song. Because, to a Korean person, it's like, it's just traditional elements. Maybe they don't really care about it as much as people think, or because it's just their history. Like what's important about it. But when we hear it in music, especially when it comes to Korean hip hop, because I love hearing them incorporating traditional elements in Korean hip hop, because it's really what makes that version of hip hop their own, and not just something that they've.
No, it's carrying on their poetic tradition.
Yeah.
Right.
Too.
Is it the Lit TV reaction video you're talking about?
Yes.
It's good. They're so great. I love them.
I'll provide links to all these sources in the episode description, so be sure to check that out. At the same time, I'm not trying to like, what do you call it? Like orientalize or like exotify these elements. Like that's something I'm also trying to be very conscious of. Like, just because it's exotic and foreign.
right.
Yeah. It's not that. It's just, it's something that's uniquely Korean and truly Korean, and something that comes from their culture and their history and their people.
Yeah, no, I think that just like I said in the beginning, K-pop doesn't happen in a vacuum, and with so many powers that be pushing them towards, I'll say, like whiteness, like pushing them to like bow down to that, like it is subversive and powerful to connect and showcase more traditional elements from Korea.
Yeah.
I connect to that.
A friend and I have discussed this, like with the movement to like divest BTS from K-pop is, I mean, I understand why people do that, and I apologize ahead of time if this is like a controversial for you guys, but it is when they try to divest BTS from K-pop, it is trying to what I can't remember at the moment because I've had a lot of vodka, but
like whitewash, or
yes, it is. It's a way for Westerners to appropriate the Koreanness, right? It's a way to make them like model minorities. It's a way to make them an exception to the rule. Like I understand. Again, I'm not saying I don't understand the like mindset behind like, oh, okay, they're global, so it's not just Korean pop, but to divest them from K-pop, to like cut them off from Korea is a way to like say like, no, they are the exception.
Yeah.
They're not, this is like Korean music isn't like
Korean
normally
pop
awesome.
is down there, and
right.
BTS
And like, they've elevated it, and when really it's like, you know what I mean? And like, I have
like cuisine, like elevated cuisine.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, you made fun of us for like our food. You said it smelled funny. It tasted bad. Like, it tasted weird. Like, oh, we eat weird things. You chonged our language. And now you're like all about that Korean life. You're all about that, like, like, fuck you. Like, fuck you all. Like, and, or like people who say like, I don't normally find Asian men attractive, but I like BTS. You know what? Like, fuck you all. And I don't apologize for saying that.
Yeah.
Examine why that is a problematic thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, BTS is attractive, they're hot, but they're not the exception, right? Asian men were hot before them. Asian men are hot in the time of BTS. And when BTS passes, inevitably, Asian men will be hot. So fuck you all.
Yes.
Like, that's all I gotta say. That's all.
I think that's a nice mic drop. Is there anything else we want to cover before we give our final scores?
I just want to ask all the listeners, were you expecting to like,
just go in?
Yeah, because you're welcome.
Yes.
Before final scores, Michaela, on the music, like this, my favorite song off the mixtape for sure. This song is like lit 9000. It's right up there with Fire, Idol, peak hour banger songs, Mic Drop, Aoki remix as well. So yeah, it is such a loud song. However, for as loud as it is, it makes you lean in on the bridge. On the bridge of the song, you actually hear the volume of the instrumental downslope. It goes down. They actually turn down the volume. And then SUGA himself actually starts whispering. Yeah. And it forces you to kind of like lean in. It's like, oh, what was that? And like you kind of have to like lean into the music to really pay attention. And then he starts rising in volume. And then it's like final chorus. And then, like that's a powerful like, speech giving effect. It's a powerful effect in captivating attention. It's dynamic. So that's just like a little nugget. I just wanted to make sure all you listeners out there were able to.
Did it remind you of RM's verse in Dang?
Yes.
Yeah.
The flow.
Now that you say that.
And the stuttering, and I'm like,
wow.
You know what? Fuck me with that verse. Just
we need a remix now, right?
Yeah.
원하는 건 모두 갖췄지 이제 눈물도 가져야만 만족이 될지 내가 원했던 건 너 담은 돈 담은 걸 이 다음은 도대체 뭐지 그 다음은 그래 뭘까 심히 느껴지는 현타 위가 없는 현상 위험보다 난 이젠 강하게 맘보다가 이대로 쫓아보 헤이러도 없는 래퍼들은 좀 닥쳐 너의 헤이러가 어딨어 눈 씻고 세수한 뒤 거울을 봐 거기 숨쉬는 바로 너의 헤이러 우린 celebrate 아직 excel no break 네가 뭔데 날 인정해 이름값 하는 개구리들 응원 안 해주기를 간절히 기도할게
I mean, he's fine. He's just a fine man. And like...
I'm not sure we discussed that enough on this
I really feel like people don't understand just how fine of a human being he is. Like, just... like...
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's funny, actually, earlier today, I was... a small little flex. I had an interview with SF Chronicle.
Nice.
Talking about
Nice.
and,
PR professional.
Nice.
We were talking about biased members of BTS, and I said like, it used to be that I was really into Rapma.
Oh yeah,
RM.
yeah. Because he's a fine man also.
Well, I mean, like, I think I was just naturally, as the English translator of the group, I'm hearing from him the most, and I'm understanding, the Einstein of our age, the critical thinking, and the artistry, and the layers of storytelling and meaning that he's trying to put behind the music. But increasingly, it's SUGA. Is what I said on that interview, and this is like case in point for that. I think there's a lot to come from SUGA.
I mean, come is the right word.
Oh boy! Oh my God.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh,
okay.
My bad.
Okay, so let's wrap this up.
Yes, yeah. Let's really move along.
About that time, y'all.
All right. I mean, leave it to me to always ruin the vibe.
No, you just like elevate.
Yeah.
Take us there.
원하는 건 모두 갖췄지 이제 눈물도 가져야만 만족이 될지 내가 원했던 건 너 담은 돈 담은 걸 이 다음은 도대체 뭐지 그 다음은 그래 뭘까 심히 느껴지는 현타 위가 없는 현상 위험보다 난 이제 강하게 맘보다가 이대로 쫓아보 I'm a king, I'm a boss 새겨 놓아 내 이름 이만 산 새기 놈 약간 놈의 줘 I'm a king, I'm a boss 다 알잖아 내 이름 이만 산 새기 놈 약간 놈의 뭐가 그 자꾸 들어
All right. Like I said, it's about that time, y'all. Time to give our final scores. We discussed the concept, the visual, the audio, and much, much more. But is Agust D's daechwita daebak or not?
Peter.
Yeah, it's daebak. It's better than Vaughn, Black Swan, everything.
Excuse
from
me?
BTS's last
Oh
album.
shit! There's really fight.
Yeah.
You wait
It's
until
that good.
now to say that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephanie.
Okay, definitely daebak, but we're gonna have to talk about Black Swan.
Okay, and it's daebak for me as well, and Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Shocked.
not really a
I'm
question.
really waiting on Virginia's score. I just don't know.
Everyone's confused.
She's
Is this a
giving
BTS
so many like
podcast?
mixed messages on this.
Sorry, I'm a tease.
I'm not sure how she feels about SUGA.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I don't think she finds him attractive.
No, not at all. No, not
All right.
remotely.
All right.
So
You
we
can
have
always
some-
find us on Twitter. Oh yeah, listener feedback. Oh yeah, sorry.
Or we
ahead, Stephanie.
we can do this. Yeah, let's just do it as it is assigned on the script.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can always chat with us on Twitter at the Kpopcast.
Or shoot us an email with your constructive feedback and episode ideas on our Gmail account, kpopcastshow@gmail.com.
We reached out to our followers on Twitter and asked what they thought of this contract.
We're evidently very funny to Virginia in our banter. While Virginia's covering it, I'll also give a plug for a Slack. You can also get in touch with us there. Let us know your thoughts on episode ideas and whatnot.
Yeah, so at Pessimistic Oz reached out to us on Twitter and they said, daebak! It's been almost 4 years since Agust D, and I think D2 shows how much he's matured as an artist and a person, as well as glimpses of his personal thoughts with the BTS fame. He got chances to reveal himself more than if it were another BTS album, and it's refreshing.
Indeed it was.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So let our listeners know where they can find each of you on Twitter.
I'm the MandarinMama on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm S Parker 2.
I'm at DJ Peter Lowe.
And I'm at Michaela J. K-pop.
Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share all over the internet.
How many years do you guys think it'll be until the next mixtape?
5. I feel like it's going to be like 5 or 12.
12.
5 or 12.
Well.
No, don't say that.
39 years.
It's like exponential increase.
Well, he said, he said in that interview, he doesn't know whether it's 5 to 10 years. It's just when he has enough to say.
But that's good. As an artist, you need to live life to.
You don't need to be on a schedule.
Look, SUGA, if you need to experience life, if you need to experience love, if you need to experience being a husband and having fathering children,
Yeah.
I'm
Available.
available. My husband has agreed. He's fine with it. He's a good man.
Can we get his input? Right?
He has. I made sure that it wasn't a joke. I made sure he understood that if anyone from BTS called,
anyone,
and but in particular SUGA, but
yeah,
I'm OT7 all the way, so yeah, and he agreed, and I was like, you're only agreeing because you think it won't happen, but when it does, I want you to know that it will happen.
How much vodka led to this agreement?
No. This is a completely sober agreement. And he's like, you know what? I don't fucking care if you father a child. If they father a child with you, I will raise this child. I will be their father.
Whoa.
But they just have to pay for the other children. And I was like, I respect that. But I'm just telling you, it's not a hypothetical situation.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. And he was
Shoot
cool
your
with that.
shot.
This better not hinder me from getting an actual interview with them in person. But I'm just, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
It's not like this is a live stream,
right?
Where everybody can say.
I mean, look, we can blame it on the alcohol, but it's not. It's really not.
This is just how you are.
It's just how I am. I'm just a thirsty hoe, and it's fine because you know what? People should be compensated for their work, and that's all I have to say about that. I'll just be quiet now.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the show again, Virginia.
You're welcome.
We'll call you back next time we talk about SUGA or BTS, I'm sure.
And just for future reference, I am a big stan of anyone who's just hot and talented. So I am not opposed to people like Lay, who apparently is going to be releasing something soon because he's a fine motherfucking man.
Hey.
I'm an equal opportunist. I like to try to promote Asians whenever possible, but
how do you feel about Jackson?
Oh my God, do not
Jackson.
I'm a little bit annoyed. Okay, real talk here. I'm a little bit annoyed about his tweet about hoping the things will pass soon because let's face it, racism has always been here and it's not going to pass soon. let's not like pretend it's just this blip in American history, right? But like,
yeah, it kind of makes it seem like it's an annoyance to him,
right? Like, oh, too bad. And I get it. You know, he's from Hong Kong. He's from Shanghai. Like, he's not an American, so like, he can't. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of not understanding the nuance of the situation. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, but he ain't in no vacuum, like,
right? Yeah, like don't benefit from proximity. Mm-hmm. Don't benefit from like.
Do better, Jackson. Listen to us.
And he's fucking fine. So don't make it seem like, oh my god.
Don't throw it away. We're rooting for you.
Yes. To quote Tyra Banks, I was rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
I was rooting for you. I saw that episode live, by the way. That's how old I am.
Live? Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm fucking old, man. And like, and you know, so like,
we're supposed to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it.
Right? Okay, like, so I'm not just calling out Jackson. I just mean in general, like, Asian Americans do better. Okay, like we were only allowed in this country because white people didn't want to pay for freed black people.
Yeah.
Okay, we were only brought into this country because white people could not stomach the idea of paying for freed black slaves.
Ooh, I just got chills. Like, too much real talk in one episode. I can't.
I'm just saying. And the only reason why we were allowed back after the Chinese Exclusion Act is because white people wanted to bring back their Korean brides from the war. So don't think for a second that we're here because, you know, we did anything, that we were better than other people. We were only here because of, like, the blood and, like, because of what black people laid the foundation for. Okay, so like, don't like, you can't, we do not exist in a vacuum, and you cannot, like, I cannot emphasize this enough, like, show up or shut up. Like, do not fucking come and talk to me about how about anti-Asian sentiment if you're not here for anti-blackness. Like, if not, and by that I mean, like, if you're not, like, talking about anti-blackness, because it is all linked. Don't think that you can benefit from white proximity. It is not okay. And I would say this sober, you know, and I am mostly sober. Like, it's not okay. Like, that's all I have to say. But anyway.
Heart you.
Yes. So.
Well, I think we should try to include that at the end of the of the episode recording.
Yeah.